Yeah, it's all coming back to me. The 80s and 90s at the moment. I'm having sort of like realizations. So the pictures in the files all seems to add up with what they're saying about the teeth and all the awful things. Now, it's the sort of thing, horror stories my dad would tell me. I just thought he was being controlling. He was so controlling and terrified that awful things would happen to me. And I'd be like, shut up, Dad. What are you on about? What do you mean sold to rich people? He was obsessed. He used to say if I was too, like, he wouldn't let me wear makeup or anything or go out with boys or anything, you know. He was obsessed with keeping his eye on me, which just makes it worse. Let's face it, we were anarchy babies. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, but now I've just been thinking about it the last couple of days. He called me, you look like a Lolita. You look like a little Lolita. And he was obsessed with this. And I used to think, oh, shut up, Dad. What are you going on about, weirdo? Do you know what I mean? 14, 13, 14. Oh my God, yeah. A little Lolita. And he would say about these terrible people in the world that take advantage of young girls and sell them off to their mates and put them through terrible things. And I'd be like, what are you going on about, Dad? Do you know what I mean? I just want to pop downtown, see me mates, you know. I just thought he's getting. And then when he moved me to Bristol, he was like, you can't go out alone because there's murderers and rapists here. I thought, oh, that's that then, is it? That's my life over. What do you mean I've got to be supervised, have I? Well, I think within a few months he was like, just get out. I can't have a sulking teenager around the house. I was so depressed being there, missing my friends and everything. I was whisked away. I was having a relationship with someone older and it was forbidden. And he whisked me to Bristol so fast, right? I've never mentioned any of this stuff on here, but thinking about it now. And then I got into modelling, you know, when I was 18. I suddenly fell into that because someone wanted to pay me, and it was all very civilised, and, you know. But he was then, he was like, he was trying to protect me, that whole modelling world. You know, I was being around girls that wanted to get their career off them. I didn't want to be a model. I was just there part time. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't my whole life existence. Like, you know, I had young children as well. I had my first child at 18. Another one of his worst idea. Yeah, he was like, you'll be pregnant before you know it. You'll be sold to rich men. You know, if you're not bloody careful, where have you been? And I was like, I thought, shut up, Dad, you're being weird. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't even thought about these things yet. The things he was going on about, I was thinking, I'd never heard of. I was innocent. And I was being accused of things that, not accused, but like, he would go off on a rant about what could happen to me. And it was like, oh, here he goes, you know? On the plus side, he politicised me. And it's part of my whole makeup now. My views on humanity. I'm not going to suddenly change them because someone's commented and thinks they're going to change my mind. I've been brought up on it. Do you know what I mean? I believe in looking after everyone, so that's not going to change, right? But my dad was right, wasn't he? You know, because I was around that whole model thing, and like there were seedy photographers who would hope, oh, you know, paying extra money, they'll take their top off before you know it. You're having a drink, getting a bit loose. Yeah. And obviously I was quite wise because my dad drummed so much into me. So I didn't get myself into any danger. But I was around it. These young girls, they're like, oh, we could go on some flashy island somewhere with these rich people, live it up. Just like that. Well, they're just going to pay for you. Are they on a jet, on an aeroplane, Lolita Express? They're going to pay. I know, I can imagine now. God, yeah, it was rife. The industry was rife of people thinking that you might want to be a model. It's the same with the music industry. Do you know what I mean? Think you're going to like shag them to get a gig? No. You know, if I got to shag them, the music's not good enough. Sorry, that's not on the deal. They didn't do that to guys. It's still rife in our society, you see. That's why it's worth thinking about the culture changes, because it's us here now. It's going to change again. So at the moment, there's no overseeing young people in the entertainment industry. I've had a few nasty scrapes, and when I've spoke out, I've been ostracised over the years. You know, just a couple of incidences, which is nothing probably compared to most, but I've seen it. And yeah, if you've got to flirt or shag someone to get a gig, you need to go back to what the product is. You know, what are you actually and stand firm and be boundaried. Be boundaried. Don't play those games. You're worth more. You've got skills. You know, the music's. You wouldn't do that to a guy. That's just a like example I can give you of how there's a lot of the world is still run by men. Now, men have their own issues going on that we haven't even started addressing when it comes to being in abusive situations. They've just come out today that Mexico is independent from Trump, and they are now investigating the Epstein files, because at Zorro Ranch, they've discovered today that a lot of young men were drugged and abused there. You see, this is why we need to be having conversations and forgetting the gender. Forgetting the gender. It's not a battle. We're not against each other. We need to work together. Safety for, but I just realised that my dad was right. Thanks, Dad. You know, because he did, even though he was strict, he was right. Lolita. He'd say, you look like Lolita. Get changed. You're not going out like that. I didn't know what he was going on about at first. But I just thought, what are you on about? You know what I mean? I hadn't even thought those things yet. But he was right, wasn't he? Could have been any one of us. If you remember that era. We didn't even know it existed yet. You would fall into that so easily. That's the point. We didn't even know it existed yet. So, how would you know? Why would you not be vulnerable if you were put in that position? Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Dad, you were right. Yeah, bloody hell, Lolita Express. Flipping heck.